All right, we're going to review Activity 2-1, Dynamic Characteristics, and the main purpose of this video is to introduce everyone to plotting data with Excel. So I've imported a screenshot of the workbook data, and you can see that I'm dragging it around here. It's just a picture that I've imported into Excel. Okay, so this doesn't, the data that's in here doesn't actually do anything for us. So let's go ahead and make two columns of data, and I'll just put the labels up above, percent signal, and we'll put pressure, and we'll go over here and put increasing, and then we'll also put another set of data here for decreasing. I may end up speeding ahead on this part. Okay, so we're just going to record it all for now, and then we'll see pressure. So what you're going to want to do is type these all in, 0, 10, and Excel recognizes series, so I can just drag this down until I get to 100. That'll speed things up. 0, 1, 2, 8, 14, 20, 26, 32, 38, 44, 50. Okay, so that's pretty quick. Okay, and this goes from 100 down to 0. Okay, so I'm going to highlight both of those with the select tool. Come down here to this bottom right corner. You see the dark cursor, and I'm going to drag it down until it gets to 0. Then we'll just type in all the pressure values, 50, 49, 48. I'm just using a down arrow key here to do this. You can use the enter key as well, that works fine. Whoops. So what we're going to do is we are going to build a graph. In this case, the data is all evenly spaced, so if we put the percent signal on the x-axis and the pressure on the y-axis, we have it exact same situation as what we have in the workbook. And I can go ahead and insert the solution from there. Let's find it. Alright, so I went up to top of Excel. I clicked on the Insert tab. Now I'm going to select Picture. And you know, I was looking in this folder before, so it knew where to go to find it. Insert, Picture. This is it here. Alright, this is it for sure. So there's all of our data. Now, as you can see, I've actually plotted the data by hand, and that's what. So we've got increasing shown as X's, and I got decreasing shown as circles. Now, with scientific or engineering data, what you always want to do is show your data as points and show your interpretation as lines. So I've got a different set of points for increasing, different set of point styles for decreasing. You can tell them apart. And you can see that one does not lay right on top of the other. This is called hysteresis. And what hysteresis means is that the response of a system depends on the history. So that's kind of it. Alright, so let's go ahead and we'll scoot this guy over here. But let's build I'm going to click right there. Let's click in cell A16 and let's go Insert. Here's charts, and there's a whole bunch of different types, but there's one I prefer above all the others, and that's the scatter chart. The reason the scatter chart is so good is that if you have data that's not evenly spaced in the x-coordinate, it's excellent for handling that. So for example, if I was measuring two points, let's say that was 21 instead of 20, and this one was 39, I could still plot that perfectly using the scatter plot. It's really useful, and there's really no reason not to use it. So I kind of tend to always go to that one as a default. Okay, so I'm going to click scatter plot. So there's a bunch of choices here. On this one, it's just going to show the markers, and here's it's going to smooth the lines. We don't want that. And here it's going to show the markers with lines, and then here's just smooth lines, and here's just straight lines. Well, let's go here. plopped it up right in the middle of the screen, but I'm going to scoot it down here. Alright, so right now we have a blank chart. And what I can do next is I could either go up here and click Select Data, or I could right click in the chart area, because we got to add the data to have a chart. So I'm going to right click in there. I'm going to go down here to Select Data. I could have just as easily gone up to the Data tab up here. And I'm going to add a series. And I'm going to call this one Increasing. And now I'm going to select the range for the X data, and it's right here. Click this little guy here that says OK, I'm done. Now you can see what it's saying. Take the data from sheet 1, starting at cell A4. It has the dollar signs in there. It's not going to let you change those. Colon, $sign A14. So it's saying it's going to take all these here. Everything between A4 and A14. So I click over here and it says, OK, that's what I want. Now I'm going to tell it where the y-axis data is. And we'll put, that's our pressures. And we'll just say OK at this point. Now name the whole chart Increasing. So we'll just rename this guy Activity 2-1. Now I'm just scrolling down, and then go down here to where it says Format Data Series. Left click on that. Okay, marker options, automatic, that's fine. Marker fill, we've kind of got a color picked out. Let's pick a different one. Gradient fill, we don't need to do that. Okay, line color, let's not have a line. Line style won't matter since we don't have a line. Marker line color, marker line style. And you send the signal to the controller. And there's some slop in the mechanical portion of the valve assembly. And as you're trying to increase the valve position, it just doesn't respond for a little while until all that slack's taken out. So there's one. So we've got the increasing data on here. Now let's add the decreasing data. I could just right click on here and put Select Data and add some more data. The other way to do it is to click on the chart, go over to Design, the Design tab up here, click Select Data. Now I want the up and down series to use different markers. So I'm going to add a data series. Every time I click Add here, it's going to add a whole new data series, and I could have a whole bunch of those in there. So we'll call this one Decreasing. Now for the X range on that, we're going to use this data here. And there's my Y data. And there it is. We'll just say OK. Say OK again. Now I'm going to right click on here. I'm going to format this data series. And how about we make these circles with some light red color in them for decreasing. And well, let's see, built in. Let's pick them. Let's make them circles. There we go. Marker options, size. Okay, primary, secondary axis, we are just using one vertical axis, so we leave it on the primary. So that's pretty much it. Managed to duplicate the plot. We've done it in Excel, which is far better than just doing it by hand. So here's the dead zone, and then you can see a more or less region of linear response from about 20 or 30% all the way up to 100%. Then as we start to decrease another dead zone, well, here we're telling it to reduce, and it's not really reducing until we get clear down here to 80%. Then it's linear all the way down. to 0. So if we wanted to add some axis labels here, we could just click on the chart, and then there's a bunch of tabs. We'll want to go up to layout, and then we could change the chart title. We could put in the legend or hide the legend if we want to hide the legend. Let's put in primary horizontal axis title, title below. And now I can just click in here and change what it says. And let's see, what does it say in the workbook? It calls it, doesn't have a name for it. It's just percent signal. We'll just call it percent signal. So that might be a control signal you're sending. Axis title, we'll add that one and we'll rotate it. And we'll, in our data up here, we call that pressure. So let's call that pressure again. And we don't have units on here. If you had units, what you'd do is put the units in parentheses. Say, let's say it was PSI. I'm just making this up. So that's typically how you represent units, as you put them in a parentheses. Okay, so that concludes activity 2-1.